Well, it has been more than a month now since a St. Louis student and teacher were killed in a school shooting. Since then, though, the FBI says it continues to see a dramatic spike in hoax gun threats at schools. Now the FBI is sharing these reminders. They say hoax threats are a crime, and when charged federally, a defendant can face up to 5 years in federal prison. The FBI says it's not hard for law enforcement to track down who makes those threats. And the FBI is asking people not to share threats made on social media because it can spread misinformation and cause panic. Instead, report it to law enforcement. But all of this also takes a mental health toll. So to explain that aspect, Dr. Jameca Woody Cooper joins us. She is a counseling psychologist. Thanks so much for being here. First, what are some of the reasons that people, and specifically students in so many of these cases, are making these violent threats?
Well, it's really a variety of reasons. We can always say yes, it's for attention, because ultimately that is the goal. However, I think it really has a lot to do with a need for power, a need for attention, a need for influence, a desire for some type of reputation revolving around this. And it really has to do with the bonds and the lack of the bonds and the connection that we have as individuals in our society. So it's really, it could be a variety of things. Could be also revenue, money, could be some of the motivation, but when we get down to it, it's because of the weakened social bonds that we have and the lack of connection that we all have that really causes a person to feel as though this is okay.
How do these fake threats, as well as the real threats, and the interruption to learning impact the other students' mental health?
Well, it's quite taxing on the system as a whole. So individuals, teachers, staff, everyone, the district, but it's taking a huge toll on students. So it's anxiety producing for one, and then it's extremely, when I say extremely traumatic. These are students that already likely have some sort of trauma that they've encountered in life. So now you're going to add this on top of it, which we call cumulative trauma, and it's taking a toll on them because what's next between school shootings, hoax calls, fire drills, other acts of violence, bullying, it's a lot that they really have to be on alert for, and it's causing them to always be on alert, which in a mental health capacity takes a toll on their health actually over the long term.
So is it possible to stop these hoax threats, and why or why not?
I think it's going to be really difficult. I think it's going to be very difficult to stop these, and it's going to require lots of different things being done. And really the biggest thing that I see is that we as a community have to take a stand and take some initiative and say, how are we cultivating connections with our children, with students in the schools? They don't have as much of a connection as they need with families, with their peers, within their schools, in the community as a whole. That's our fault, and we need to do a better job of that. That's where it starts.
Well, quickly before we let you go, I want to ask, how do parents address these fears, whether they are about, gun violence in schools or within the community?
Well, I think parents have to be really honest. They have to have really honest conversations with their children, share their own feelings and their fears. If you're afraid and this makes you afraid, don't be afraid to say that to your child. And maybe even, if age appropriate, discuss solutions, like what they see that could be solutions.
Dr. Jameca Woody Cooper, thank you for joining us. Really important conversation that we need to continue to have. Thank you.
Thank you.